Hi, welcome to Happier Ladies. We're sisters who discuss all things related to work, family, and personal growth.
We draw inspiration from everywhere, especially from you, our listeners, to keep moving forward with joy and laughter in the big adventure that is life.
1 week at a time.
I'm Azizi Williams. I live and work in the LA area. I'm a mom of two and soon to be empty nester, and I'm an education professional in the independent school world. I'm here with my sister, Malika Amandi.
That's me. I'm a SoCal native living in Western Massachusetts, a newish mom, and I work in higher ed. In this episode, we'll recap our favorite moments from the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast and Happier in Hollywood, hosted by Liz Craft and Sarah Fain.
But first, Malika, I posted some pictures of your pumpkins that Norm grew on your front porch, and it's gotten a lot of likes. They're very striking.
2 very handsome pumpkins. The big ones Norm grew in the backyard. The smaller of the 2 big ones is 39 pounds. And the other one is like 98.2 pounds.
Wow.
The big one. And then the littler ones, my mother-in-law grew.
A lot of things growing out there. Pioneer
Very
Valley.
fertile ground.
Very fertile grounds. Yeah, well, Grayson grew pumpkins, or I should say attempted to grow pumpkins. It got as far as the flowering stage, and then nothing happened. Just a lot of leaves. So not so fertile ground here in LA.
For some reason, I was not excited about it initially, and I thought it was going to be such a hassle, and what are we going to do with this giant pumpkin? How are we going to move it? And he was really committed. I did back off at some point. It was like, let the man grow a pumpkin. There's really no harm.
You have so much yard. It's not like it's taking up space or anything.
And then I have to say on the back end, I'm really proud of him. And it was a really fun activity for him and Indigo to move the pumpkin. We put it in a wheelbarrow, and now it's out there for the world to see on the porch, and it feels good.
So do you have a lot of pumpkin seeds now? Like, I can just imagine carving that ginormous pumpkin.
We do have a lot of seeds, and Norm gave some to his sister, and then he saved some. So I'm imagining this will happen again next year.
Wait, but did you eat them? Like roast them?
No, they were just harvested.
Oh. Don't you remember like soaking them and then putting oil and salt, putting them in the oven?
We didn't do that. These are like giant pumpkin seeds for giant pumpkin growth.
Well, next year. That's good eating. Next year you could try that.
Next time.
Yeah, that's cool. While we don't have any real pumpkins, we do have some lovely fake pumpkins on our front porch.
Okay.
And a whole different front yardscape. So I'll post some pictures of our version of Harvest and Halloween on Instagram.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Azizi, what happened on Happier recently?
Episode 504 is titled Schedule a Sour Hour, Relieve Muscle Knots, and How to Avoid Avoidance. Malika, have you ever had a sour hour?
I think this is what therapy is for me. It's the hour that I get twice a month to just talk about the things I'm worried about. I don't typically do that on my own as an event to just think about stuff, but I feel like I can save things up for therapy.
I guess you could take an hour to think about the things that you're saving for therapy, like to prepare for therapy. You could have an hour of thinking about it, I guess.
I don't want to think about it twice, honestly.
Yeah. Once every 2 weeks. Yeah.
I'm sure I do think about things. I don't think I need to set aside time to worry because I have that time already set aside.
Yeah.
What about for you?
I guess the closest thing for me would be sometimes I make a plan to journal about something that's causing me sourness or something I'm sour about. Like, I think my journaling time, which is not on a regular cadence, but it's interesting to think about scheduling that, like having a journaling schedule and certain days or times when you journal about different aspects. But I am in therapy, but I'm at this point in therapy where I get tired of myself complaining. Like I start to think I don't know. Like, she doesn't want to hear this. I should just, I think I'll be okay. I'm fine. Like I always get to a point in therapy
Huh.
where I'm just tired of it. And so I'm trying to push through that feeling and find ways to make it more sustainable. And because I know eventually something will happen where I will wish I had something in place or
Hmm.
someone to talk to, but that's where I'm at now.
Interesting. Like, you don't wanna take up the time or the
Just like it all sounds so petty. Like, is this really that important,
yeah.
Like, oh, I'm having a hard time with this or that. But in the grand scheme of things, should I really be complaining? Do you ever have that issue?
No, I don't. I love it that I can talk about whatever I want for that time, and I don't know, I've been going to therapy for a long time. It's
Okay.
like a regular thing, but I think also having the experience of being a coach in a somewhat similar role on the opposite side,
Mm,
where someone else is doing most of the talking and you're there holding space for them.
yeah.
I really take advantage of the times when someone is holding space for me,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like I need to be interesting. It's
Hmm.
just my time, and so sometimes I just stare out the window for a while.
It's a lot of like quiet pauses.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of pauses in there.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know, it's my time to, like, sit and think and talk, and that's what I'm paying for.
Hmm.
But I'm curious, I have wondered at times because sometimes it feels like this is kind of a friendship. This is somebody that I catch up with. It's not reciprocal at all,
No.
but it has that vibe of like, oh, I'm giving my life updates and sometimes there are chuckles. The space, it works for me, but sometimes I wonder like, am I digging deep enough? Or
Hmm.
I am curious if people have thoughts around just how to make the most of therapy or tools that you use, if there are certain questions. I have started trying to be more intentional to think at least a few minutes ahead of time what I want to talk about.
Hmm.
So I'll make like a little list in my phone or something. But I'm interested if people have ways to get the most out of that therapy time.
Yeah, me too. This is an interesting topic. Not something that's talked about that often, probably.
Yeah. They also talked about muscle knots and different ways that you can relieve muscle knots that heat and cold work. But it made me think about foam rollers, which I've always been interested in, I guess. And I've used it occasionally, but I kind of just don't know where to start, or I always feel like I'm doing it wrong.
Hmm.
And I, at the gym recently, decided to watch a YouTube video, like a do it with me routine. And there were so many different foam roller routines. So I picked one. It was like a 10-minute. I did it. I like had my phone out and followed along. It took away all of the pressure to figure out what to do. So I think that's something I'll just try to incorporate into my like post workout stretching because it is like a massage.
Hmm.
It's like a massage.
It's interesting because I can only think of one thing to do with a foam roller. Like, I can't imagine what else can you do besides roll over it. So I'm really curious about this routine and YouTube video with all these tips and hacks.
Well,
You're on your back and you roll, right?
right, but it's like they focus on different muscle groups, so you rolled your upper back, then you did your hamstrings and your calves. Like, there were different positions to put it on, and
Okay. Interesting.
it helps me to see somebody doing it.
Yeah, I would definitely need that because I can only think of one thing that I've ever done with a roller. I'm definitely going to be looking this up. I'm curious about that. Episode 505 is titled Rediscover Your Closet, Personalized Guest Greetings, and When Rules Need Bending. They talked about rediscovering your closet. And this came up in Happier in Hollywood too, but when I
Yes.
heard them talking, I thought about this shirt that I have that is so cute, but I do not wear it. And
Mm.
it's interesting because I always go to pull it out. I bought it intentionally for fall, but then I just stopped myself. And one day I was looking at my closet and I have all my shirts kind of hanging up. And I noticed that the color of this shirt is orange. And it is like stands out so much from all of my other shirts. And there's something about this color that makes me feel like I can't wear it or I'm going to look like a pumpkin, or I don't know, but it's probably just not going to get worn. I should probably just let it go.
This is the time to look like a pumpkin, Azizi. I mean,
No,
if any
no,
time.
I don't think you don't. There's never a time where you want to look like a pumpkin. I don't know. But hold on. I'm going to be right back. I want to take a picture of the closet and you're going to spot it. Hold on. Okay. Okay. I'll be right back.
Okay, it's very
See?
orange. It is quite
See what
orange.
I'm saying? You get it now. I don't know.
It's a very
For some reason,
saturated
when
color.
I was in the store, it felt like this is going to be a great fall vibe. It's going to be the perfect piece to like bring in the fall. But then actually, it's not a great fall vibe. So I don't think I'll be wearing it.
I'd be curious to see you wear it, like, take a picture of you in it, and then I can
All
decide.
right.
But I will say, I got my colors
Yeah.
done. I talked about that, and I'm a winter. One of the few colors that I apparently not flattering on me is orange.
Mm,
So I could not wear that,
okay.
but
I don't know what my colors are, but maybe my brain is telling me you're not an orange person. So
that's funny.
I'm going to put it on and take a picture of it, and then you could tell me what you think.
Okay.
Yeah. I also realized that another rule I have is I can't wear things that wrinkle. It's just too much work. And I have a steamer, and just like they said, just the thought of taking 10 minutes on the day that you're trying to get dressed to steam something, it's too much.
Yeah. I kind of feel that way too. I don't want to make it a rule yet because there's some cute things in my closet that are
Uh-huh.
wrinkled that I keep feeling like, well, I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
But I don't actually even know if we own an iron at this point. Like, I don't know if it made it in the move. I haven't ironed in years.
Malika, I have an iron, maybe 20 years since I last ironed a thing, but I do use it to iron crafts. Like I have crafts like
Okay.
patches or things like that, but I've not actually used it to iron clothes.
Yeah. I haven't used an iron at home, but I did recently because I wanted to wear this dress. I think you gave it to me. It's like a navy blue button-up thing. I got the, like, wrinkle release
Uh,
spray, but it's too strong. I didn't get unscented.
oh,
So I've used it
oh,
once and then I was like, "Oh, this is overwhelming me."
wow.
So, I don't know. I think I'm on the way to this rule, but I'm not ready to call it yet.
Well, you should try to throw it in the dryer, see if that works.
That's true. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Liz talked about Jack being on the debate team and getting to have this debate experience. And they talked about the value of being on debate. And it made me think about the time when Sinai was on the debate team. I think it was when she was in seventh grade, maybe seventh and eighth grade.
I remember that.
It was so exciting. I was so happy. She's great with words. She loves writing and she is really interested in the topic. So I know that that aspect was appealing to her. It turned out that the competitive aspect was not appealing to
Mm,
her. And so she didn't stick with it in high school, but it was good work. And I had an experience. So the way that it worked for her debate team and for this league that she was in was parents had to be the judges. So your
okay.
children were debating, and they're usually in groups of like, I don't know, I think it's 3 people on the debate team. And so there would be 6 people. And this was during the pandemic. So it was all over Zoom. But then you, as a parent, were assigned to judge 1 or 2 debates that your children weren't in. And
Got it.
that is the most nerve wracking thing I have ever done because these poor children, they're trying so hard and you have to pay attention to what they're saying and you have to mark certain things. And I didn't debate, like it's a whole new language. I don't
Mm.
know. That was interesting.
Have you been to a debate that wasn't virtual?
Yeah. So I went to a debate in person to support my school's team. This is before my daughter was on it, just to see what it was like and to like, cheer them on. And the way it started, all of the debaters, so there are hundreds of middle school kids in the gym, like the basketball gym. And they had been studying, maybe 5 different topics because you actually don't know which topic you're going to have to debate until they announce it. And so then the announcer gets on the loudspeaker, announces what the topic is, and all the kids start yelling. They're like, yeah. And then they run off into the hallways with their team and they start to like look over their notes and everything and get their ideas together before they have to actually go into all their individual debates. So everyone in the tournament is debating the same topic. You find out like in the moment if you're for or against, and then you have to, prepare in, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes to debate. But the energy when they announce like the topic is should there be gun control or something like that, and just all the kids screaming with like enthusiasm and excitement because they've been studying for so long. It was fun. It was great. I love that energy. It's interesting to have that kind of energy in a gym that has nothing to do with sports. So I highly recommend it. If you have the opportunity to go watch a debate, you definitely should do that.
That's fun.
More Happier was titled Self-Compassion, Meditation, and More with Elmo. So this was a conversation with Gretchen, who was on a panel with other folks who have expertise with happiness. They kept calling themselves the Titans of Happiness, and Elmo was included also. And one of the strategies that Elmo shared that I really appreciated was I notice, I feel, I can. So when you're having a big feeling, one way to get through that big feeling is to first, just pause, to notice what's happening, to notice how you feel, name how it feels in your body, and then name one thing you can do in response to that feeling, sort of like one action. And I thought that's a great framework that people of all ages could recognize and something you could do with children, you could do with yourself. I really appreciated that advice. What did you think, Malika?
Well, I think on that framework, I'm just fresh off of this acting workshop I did, Shakespeare Weekend Intensive, which was quite fun.
Yay.
One of the prompts over the weekend after we did an exercise, the facilitator would ask, "What was your experience of that?" And often somebody would say like, "Oh, it was good." And then they'd be like, "Good is a judgment call. Like, what did you experience?" And
Ooh.
then it's like, "Oh, I have to say words about what I'm sensing." And that
Yes.
is not how we are conditioned. And so it really takes a moment to think, what did I actually feel during that activity?
Yeah.
And so it's just so interesting how it can take a lot of, I think you can get better with practice, but it takes a special kind of attention to go inward and ask, what am I feeling? And that prompt, I notice, I feel, it's like, what do I notice? And then what do I actually sense?
Hmm.
Can be so powerful.
Yeah. And doing that work starting young so that you can build a vocabulary of how to describe feelings and how to recognize the physical response
Yeah.
also to those emotions. That's definitely a superpower. So I really appreciated that from Elmo.
Yes, I love Elmo. I respect Elmo.
Okay.
I will say I might be in the minority. I cannot listen to Elmo's voice for a sustained amount of time. So I had a hard
How dare you, Malika?
I know. I had a hard time with that episode because it's just something about the pitch is a little too
Elmo is a
distracting for
delight
me.
and a national treasure.
I don't
You don't
argue
get
with
to
that.
say that. I loved his voice every moment of it.
Good.
Oh my goodness. Something else they talked about was phone use and how
Mm,
phone use can get in the way of happiness and all of those things that we hear all the time about how it prevents us from connecting and can really just drain your energy.
mm.
But I was wondering what's your relationship like with your phone these days?
I think it's pretty functional. I think I relate to the phone mostly as a tool
Hmm.
for getting information or taking photos, but I don't spend a lot of time scrolling on the phone or doing other things. So
Hmm.
I watch TV on it like when I'm brushing my teeth.
Yes.
I don't feel a compulsive connection to the phone. Though, of course, if I forgot it in the car, I'm going to go get it, I say I don't feel any
Wow.
compulsion, but
I think that's amazing, like, when you're like, all you do is watch TV when you're brushing your teeth, that's a pretty good relationship.
I mean, I use it to look things up, but it doesn't feel like
You're not addicted to it.
no, I don't think
Oh,
so. How about
interesting.
you?
Well, I have to say, and I gave myself, this was one of my valleys was that my phone use started creeping back into the bedroom.
Hmm,
The problem is mostly it keeps me up.
I see.
And I can scroll. And I had the experience this week actually of something coming in the mail, like a package arriving in the mail for me. And I was like, I don't remember. I'm not sure what this package is. And I opened it up and it was 2 sweaters that I have no recollection of ordering. They are in my
Wow.
size from Temu. I had no recollection of ordering these sweaters. And then I realized, oh, this was one of my late night, like past 11 p.m. impulse purchases. And I just was so sad. Like,
Mm.
so now my phone is back in the bathroom, which was my original strategy so that I could get to bed, was to have my phone go to bed in the bathroom, on its charger so that I'm not up late at night scrolling and trying to order. I have to have barriers in place. I have to do
Yeah.
things to keep my relationship with my phone in check.
Well, it's good that you have a system that works for you if you use it.
It's true. It is very effective. Also hard, but I know I can't leave the bathroom with my phone in my hand.
Yeah.
And I have to say, okay, goodbye. But it definitely helps with the bedtime routine and with the late night purchases. Good all around. In this conversation, they also talked about the importance of micro interactions and how we avoid them because they're awkward. So the micro interactions are like talking with a person in line at the coffee shop
Mm.
or having conversations with strangers, friendly conversations, which research shows can help us feel more connected and boost our happiness. But Gretchen shared that the awkwardness sometimes gets in the way. And this is definitely true for me. And I've talked about this before, how I will actively avoid talking to people
Mm.
out in the world. And if they initiate, I respond in the shortest, quickest way possible and sort of give off body language that I am not interested.
Mm.
That has been my go-to in the past, but recently I have been trying to make an effort to open up more and to welcome chit chat from strangers. And something that I've been thinking about, a mantra, is to be awkward. Just be
Mm.
awkward. Why not? Why not be awkward? Because everyone is awkward, actually. Everyone is feeling this way. When you're at a party and you don't know a lot of people and you just initiate a conversation, it feels awkward, but they probably feel awkward too. And good things come out of awkwardness. So just be awkward. So that's my new mantra.
Okay. Is this a contender for your word or phrase of the year for 25?
Oh, I didn't think about that. I'm going to write this down. Maybe. I really do think it opens up things for me, that social anxiety that I can have at
Yeah.
functions or, in line at the airport. So maybe that is it. I'm going to write it down.
That also lines up with improv, Azizi. There's a lot of awkwardness.
Oh. That's also part of improv. Okay. All right. This is my work.
I commend your desire to be more comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Now, do you feel awkwardness at all in those kinds of interactions?
Yes, I am human. I
Okay, good. Phew. I'm glad to know that.
I have felt awkward. We went to a birthday party last weekend for somebody that I've met through like mom's things, and we're not the closest of friends, but we've been in a lot of the same circles. And so I was included on the invite for a birthday thing and got to meet this person's family. And we were like some of the first people there. And it was just really awkward.
Mhm.
But I'm still glad we went. Nobody got hurt, you know?
Wait, was it awkward the entire time? Did you, like, push past the awkwardness
I
or
mean, we stayed, but most of the time it was awkward.
Okay.
There were some moments where there wasn't. I had good chemistry with their neighbor. It's just kind of weird, especially if you don't know people well and
Yeah.
you kind of run through the weather and how old is your kid? And I don't know. For some reason, I felt very awkward the whole time, but
Mm.
we stayed and I don't regret going. I think ultimately it's still a point in the like direction of building community
Right. Mhm.
and connections. So I'm grateful for that. But I think what you're saying of like, it's okay to be awkward is like, well, what is the cost of awkwardness really? It's just
Right.
awkwardness. And if you decide that that's not a problem, then maybe there's something that can happen beyond that, or maybe it can put you into other experiences.
I think especially if it's awkwardness in service of connection, which is the higher goal that we should work towards and work on. So if it's an awkwardness that's going to help me to connect or to converse or to move forward a friendship or something like that, then it's worth it.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, let's take a break. And when we come back, we will talk about Happier in Hollywood. Azizi, how's your dinner game these days?
Well, Malika, I used to struggle with what to cook for dinner.
You're cooking now?
Okay. Actually, my husband used to struggle with what to make for dinner. I mean, meal planning, grocery lists, yuck. But then we found Prep Dish. It's a weekly meal planning service that tells you exactly what to cook. And now they've partnered with Instacart, so your grocery list becomes a ready-to-go online cart.
Ooh, what's in your cart, Azizi?
All of the Prep Dish ingredients, plus I can add energy drinks, chili crisp, lipstick, whatever, and check out in just a few clicks. Shopping online is so fun. The meals are family-friendly, healthy, and super easy to prep. Dinner is easy to make, and now we look forward to new tasty meals.
Prep Dish is offering our listeners 2 weeks free. Just head to prepdish.com/happierladies to sign up. Again, that's prepdish.com/happierladies.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by The Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
And we're back. Malika, what happened on Happier in Hollywood?
Happier in Hollywood, episode 388, is titled Some Notes Never Go Away. And one of the things they talked about is Sarah's new Oura Ring purchase and how much she is loving it for tracking her sleep and activity. And I'm curious, Azizi, would you ever consider wearing an Oura Ring?
Yes, it's so funny because I just last week said to Grayson, my husband, Oura Ring is definitely on my list. Hint, hint.
You're putting it out there.
I mean, context, we had been having a conversation about things that are on our list. We've started to feel out a little bit, what do we want? And I saw our YouTuber that you and I watch, Alexandra Rodriguez, did a whole review of it. And I'm like, that's something I would like. I would like to have that kind of information. I think it would be more comfortable to sleep with and just to have. It seems like the charge lasts a long time. So yes, I would like an Oura Ring, please. What about you?
I don't know. Norm has one. He was an early adopter. He's had it since 2021. And it's actually his wedding ring now. We agreed that that would replace his wedding band.
Why not?
And it's helpful, but I think I really do use my Apple Watch for a lot of those things. So I find that that's enough for me. I don't know that I need another device to do those things. And I do sometimes wear my Apple Watch at night. Not every night, but somehow it still tracks my sleep between my watch and my phone. I don't know how it knows, but it seems to be pretty accurate. So there's some other device they've talked about, not on the episode, but I think it's been a sponsor for Happier in Hollywood. That's like a glucose monitor.
Oh.
Do you know this? I don't remember the brand. It was one of their sponsors.
I remember them talking about glucose. I guess I didn't realize it was an actual monitor. Do you have to prick yourself for it?
I don't know how it works.
Okay.
But I know that it measures your glucose and your metabolism activity.
Huh.
That, I think, is something that would be new information for me. I'd be curious to know what happens after I eat a bowl of rice or whatever.
But here's the thing, I would want that too. It doesn't have to be either or.
No, I'm just saying in terms of devices or wearables.
Okay.
The information that I'm interested in, I don't really know what's happening in my gut or with my metabolism.
Right.
So that's curious to me. On the podcast T-Boy, which you and I both listened to, they talked about the Oura Ring, its popularity with institutions. So the military is considering using the Oura Ring to understand soldiers in combat, what's going on with them physiologically. And the NBA has used the Aura Ring to track players' health stats. And during the pandemic, it helped them know like when players had COVID. I'm not an institution,
Right.
but that is just fascinating to me that
Yeah.
that's where we're headed.
Yeah, that would be interesting if all the teachers had Aura rings at school. So they can get some sleep. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's cool. It gives you something to talk about. I am interested in the Aura Ring for the sleep information, but also Sarah was talking about it predicts when you're getting sick.
Yeah.
That kind of information is more information, the better, I think.
Yeah. I will say when Norm first got it, I was really invested in his sleep score every night. Like as soon as we woke up, we'd be like, what was the score? What was your score last night?
But you didn't want it for yourself. It was just like for him.
Yeah. It was enough to focus on his score, I guess. I don't know.
Aw, that's sweet.
So they also talked about notes that don't go away, like on a script as they're in the show development process. And they use this phrase, main character energy. Like, oh, this character needs more main character energy. And I just like that phrase, like thinking about that in life. Like, am I giving main character energy right now?
Yes. I feel like I've heard it before. They're not the first ones to use it. But since they've used it, I have used it twice. And one of the times was to talk about there's a class of students and the teacher was telling me all about them. And I was like, oh, right. They have main character energy. Like many students in that class could be the star of a book about themselves. It's such a good descriptor. It makes sense right away. You kind of get it. I've also thought about it sometimes for myself, like, okay, I need to go into the space with main character energy. Like, I need to have that persona, even if
Yes.
I don't want it, but sometimes it calls for, main
Absolutely.
character energy.
This is also Lionel Richie class president vibes.
Oh, yes, that's what it is. Class president vibes. That's right. Lionel Richie had main character energy.
Totally.
And that's interesting thinking about that documentary, The Greatest Night in Pop, right?
Yes.
Because they all had main character
That was
energy
true.
also. And that's a problem when everybody does.
That's
right?
true. All right. So there was a conversation around shopping your closet, like taking the time to actually try on the clothes that you have, not when you are trying to get ready for an event, but as its own activity, just to kind of have a maintenance moment and try on all of your clothes.
This is something I actually did. And I said I was going to do it back when we were talking about our Festival of Style, that twice a year or quarterly, I would go through my closet and just sort of see what's there, think about the season ahead, and take note of what I needed and get rid of anything I wasn't using. And I went through everything. And now that I have these rules about pockets and nothing that wrinkles, it kind of made it easy to let some things go that I just hadn't been wearing and to make space for other things. So I highly recommend this. It takes a lot of time, but I do like to actually try the clothes on and try a couple of different combinations. So one thing I have, Malika, I can't remember if I told you. So one of my thrift hauls, I lucked into a bunch of blazers. So, sometimes when you're thrift store shopping, you just find a section that has a bunch of stuff in your exact size.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I don't want to think about it too much. What happened to this person? Why did they get rid of all of their size? Are they okay? I don't know. But I got like 5 blazers for a very cheap price. Navy, black, gray. And so I'm in my blazer era now.
Okay. And you like blazers.
I have stepped out and forced myself to wear them because I had a few that I just didn't wear. And so now I'm like, actually, this is a good third piece. That third piece, it's a cardigan, it's a jacket, so it's like a sweater. And the problem is that mostly it's too hot to wear a blazer. And I think we talked about this in the style episode also. But anyway, this cleaning out my closet gave me a chance to move those blazers up and to start to think about how to incorporate them into my weekly wardrobe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. I definitely need to do this. My closet is sad again.
Oh.
Because it's just turned into a pile on a pile so quickly. I guess not that quickly. That was spring when we cleaned it out or summer. I can't remember now, but
it's like beginning of summer.
I think part of it is I have some drawers in there that are not, it's not like a real dresser. They're kind of like those wiry drawers that are just way overstuffed. And I'm kind of considering maybe I need to actually just like hang everything up.
Do you hang the things up that are supposed to be hung?
Most of the things that are supposed to be hung are hung, but there's just like shirts and jeans, things that I actually wear quite a bit are not.
Yeah.
And they're like mixed in with the workout clothes. And
What about those hanging things that are actually shelves?
those have not been good for me in the past. Like
Okay.
everything just gets shoved in there. But honestly, a lot of the stuff in there that is hanging, I don't wear. And I think this trying things on would free me up. Like there's a couple tops I know of that like show my midriff, which I don't want to do, you know?
Right.
So I don't wear them because it's like, oh yeah, if I raise my hand. But then they shouldn't really be my shirts, you know?
No. Get rid of those now. Like so fast. Just get rid of them. As soon as we're done here, get rid of them.
There's like a category like that where I'm like, yeah, I don't wear it out of the house, but like, well, but they're great for pajamas.
No, you need actual pajamas for pajamas. Buy some pajamas, throw away all those shirts. Don't hold on to those.
All right.
That's
Well,
dragging you down. Dead weight.
anyway, maybe over winter break, I'll have a little more time to do this. That feels far, but anyway.
That's like a long way away. Winter break. That's so far away.
I'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right. So episode 389 is titled Fall 2024 Burning Listener Questions. And they did have a segment. Somebody asked about reality TV. Like, do they have writers? Kind of how does that work? Who tells people on the Housewives what to do, or how do they know who's going to have a party? And I just remembered that when I was in my tutoring days, one of my clients was a producer on The Real Housewives of OC, which is just a funny LA thing.
Mhm.
But Norm is, I've mentioned this before, he used to work in reality television and some of his friends still do, and they're in those producer roles. So I've kind of have a window into that side of things. But there is a show called Unreal.
Mhm.
That's a fictional show that's about the making of a show like The Bachelor. And I think the show creator did work on The Bachelor, but it is, I've heard from people inside that it is a very accurate depiction
Wow.
of reality TV, and it's not a happy show.
Oh no.
It's pretty disturbing. So
Aw.
it might be the tone that you like. I actually couldn't go very far in the show because it got to be so disturbing. And then Norm was just like, I absolutely will never watch that. Like,
Malika, it sounds like this is a show not to watch if you want to continue enjoying reality TV.
well, it's good television either way. It's a good show. Like, I don't know. Depending on if you're somebody who wants to know the inside of things,
That's
we've
right.
talked about
That's right,
that.
yeah.
Like, I think it is an illuminating perspective. It's not a documentary though, so there's still, things for effect. But
Right.
anyway, that's a show that shows kind of behind the scenes. You get to see what a story producer does.
Interesting.
Yes. There was also a question that a listener asked about what's your biggest regret, like your biggest personal regret and your biggest professional regret. And I'm just curious, Azizi, what is your relationship to regret?
This is a good question. I don't tend to regret things. There's not a lot that I go over and I'm sorry for. I kind of believe that things happen in a way that they're supposed to happen and you learn from them and you grow. And I don't tend to hold on to regret, but there are a couple of things.
Okay.
So one is I wish I had more fun in my 20s.
Yes.
I just got really serious in a relationship and got married, and it was all too fast and too much. And that took up all of my 20s and a lot of my 30s. And so I missed out on all the things that you're supposed to do in your 20s, like all the adventures you're supposed to have, because I was busy having this serious life. That's a regret, I guess I have.
What kind of adventures
I don't
do you
know, like
imagine?
more international travel or parties, clubs. I don't know. I don't know. I just like road trips across the country, you know, like I guess what ultimately ended up happening is because I had this relationship and was married, you know, I was married in my 20s. Those friendships that people talked about didn't happen for me. I didn't get
see.
to have those deep friendship connections because I was sort of doing this other life. So that's the
Got
thing,
it.
probably mostly I regret. What about you?
I think I have a similar philosophy. I kind of think most things turn out the way they're supposed to. And I also, you can't really parse it out. You know, one thing leads to the next and that leads to the next. So if this hadn't happened, would this have happened? Like it gets into the zone of like why I don't like time
Mm.
travel movies or
Yeah.
stories because I don't want to take apart, you know, the fabric of
Right.
consequences. But I do regret things sometimes on a micro level, like, "Oh, I wish I had picked this drink instead of that drink," you know, at the restaurant. Like,
Yes.
I can go down that road. It's not of consequence, but I can, you know, say, "Oh, I wish I had done this instead."
Yes. I have so many regrets over meals. I am a terrible picker of meals in
I
restaurants.
know. For a foodie, as easy, you make some very strange choices sometimes.
You agreed so quickly. Like, you didn't even think about it for a
There was
minute. That was so
I
fast.
remember you ordering something, it was like a savory peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I was like, "Why would you pick
Yeah.
that?" You're like, "This is gross." Like, yes.
I don't regret it also. Guess that's the thing. Like, I don't regret having like wild choices because sometimes they pay off and
Alright.
it's fantastic. But you're right. That one wasn't so good. The thing is, I'm chasing a thing. Like there was some
Hmm,
years ago where I had this amazing peanut butter and jelly hamburger and it was like the best thing ever. And I just have to order it when it's on the
I see.
menu because I'm chasing that. Same with Brussels sprouts. If there are Brussels sprouts on the menu, I'm ordering it. I have to order it because a few times I've had really good ones, but 9 times out of 10 they're not going to
I
be good.
see.
I just have to
Well, I'll
order it.
just let you know that restaurant doesn't have that peanut butter sandwich on the menu anymore. So,
That was maybe it was seasonal
I
or
don't know,
maybe they
didn't
got
do
enough
well.
feedback. It was off. Something wasn't great there.
I think I do also have the shadow regret or sometimes a sense of regret that I didn't have more fun in my 20s also.
Mm.
I was very I don't know, I was serious, I was very kind of in a certain religious era moment, very
Mm.
conservative socially, and then I'm not now, and so I kind of fell for different reasons. It's funny we both have that sense, you know, like, "Oh, I wish I had gone to
Yeah.
more parties or dated
Yeah.
more," or just kind of, you know, been a little bit more frivolous.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It was interesting because I regret it. And again, I don't regret it because when I got to my 30s, I recognized that actually I don't know what I want
Mm,
or what is fun for me. And so that sort of led me down this path of kind of rediscovering myself and taking time periodically to check in about what I like and what I don't like, which is why I like Happier so much and the know yourself better
yeah.
questions, because that was part of it. Part of the thing is when you're that young, you don't necessarily know yourself or know what you want or what makes you happy. So then again, I don't have regrets.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's
It's who we are. I have no
who we are.
regrets about who I am today, and, like,
Yeah,
those years led up to this where who I am today.
exactly. But it's an interesting question. I enjoy the reflection. All right, let's take a break. And when we get back, we'll do peaks and valleys.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
We're back with peaks and valleys because in life, there are always peaks and valleys. And this week, Malika is up with a peak.
All right, so my peak is that I finally did an acting workshop. Yay!
Yay.
which I've already referenced once in this episode, but I will say
That's all right.
it was really delightful. I'm so glad I did it. I'm really proud of myself for following through. It felt like a huge amount of effort just to sign up and get there. And shout out to Norm for holding down the fort with Indigo all weekend. It was like a Friday night, all day Saturday, and then Sunday morning engagement, about an hour from where I live. So it was quite a bit of time. And I just felt really grateful for the support of my family to do this creative endeavor just for, my love of theater and acting. And it felt really good to do it and to connect with other artists in that way.
Yay. I'm so happy for you. You've been talking about this for a long time, Malika. That's amazing.
Thank you.
It was on your 24 for 24, right?
It sure was.
Hey, you get to cross it off. Oh, that feels so good. I wish I could be there to watch you cross it off. You should record yourself crossing it off your list. That's so good.
I wish I had like a written checklist, it's like a digital thing. It's just going to be like.
Yeah, but just make one. Just like write it down and then cross it off. You don't actually have to have had it the whole time. It will still feel good.
Azizi, what's your valley?
My valley is that the Office ladies are at their last episode.
Oh,
so
no.
I know I've talked about this before. The Office Ladies is a podcast with Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey. They were Pam and Angela on The Office, of which I am a huge, huge fan. And they started their own rewatch podcast where they would watch an episode of The Office each week and then break it down from their perspective. And I've talked about how their podcast was an inspiration also for our podcast because they did a rewatch. We do a re-listen. We do recaps. And they're the Office ladies. We're the Happier Ladies. And just their banter and their relationship with each other is so sweet, so engaging. And I've been on this journey with them from the first day. And it's been 5 years. So the finale is 2 parts. And as I listened to the first part of the finale, I was getting emotional also, just as they were, having gone through this journey with them. And they've made it clear they're going to continue. They're going to have, more content covering The Office and then other aspects of their interests. So I'll keep listening, but it's going to be different. And so that's kind of a valley that it's an end of an era for me and for them.
Well, that brings us to the end. Azizi, let's leave on a happier thought. What are you going to try this week?
I'm going to try to have a sour hour. I want to find a dedicated time to vent and to, air my grievances to my journal. I think that will feel really good. What about you, Malika?
I'm going to take those 2 shirts in my closet that I know don't fit.
Yes, that is fantastic.
Thank you for listening to this episode. You can find our show notes in the episode description and on our website. If you like us, rate us, review us, and tell a friend. And don't forget to follow us.
Send us a message at happierladies@gmail.com and tell us something you liked about Happier and Happier in Hollywood this week.
Our show was edited by Magnus Bjorgum, and our theme music was created by Wyatt Muncie.
You can find us on Instagram at happierladies and on the web at happierladies.com. All right, Malika, have a happier week.
Have a happier week, Azizi.
Bye.
Bye.
Try this week. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze.
Oh boy.
Sorry. I'm gonna try to have a sour hour. I'm gonna make an intentional time to air my
Oh boy.
I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when. I'm sorry.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.